From the time the first buttercup blooms, they're starting to go out and gather roots and all of this for their food, and saving it, drying it. So they work till middle of summer, then they take a break.
That's Johnny Arlee giving some background on early gatherings in the area. For hundreds of years, Native Americans have celebrated the circle of life with seasonal festivals. They feature dancers recreating their exploits on the battlefield, or war dances. One evolution of the powwow included tribes moving away from war dances and adopting popular dance styles from other tribes. Arlee says the relationship that Native people had with their environment was one of communication.
So you talk to everything, all the plants that grow, they're all our relations. They were here before human beings. They prepared the world for the human beings.
Arlee says that some of the changes in the powwow are a reflection of the younger generations always craving change. Powwow committee member Shondine Pete talks about how that need for change has come full circle, with some local traditions being revived.
Some of the changes that we've made is we started the old style day to let some of the younger people see some of the more traditional dances that are really specific to our tribe.
Pete also talks about some of the steps the committee has taken to ensure everyone's enjoyment.
One of the values that our kind of people have is that when we have visitors come, we try to make it hospitable for them. So we work hard to keep the encampment clean, make sure we have enough security so everybody's property is safe.
The powwow has seen many changes throughout the years. Gene Sorrell talks about one big change he and his wife helped implement in 1984.
We developed a more realistic look at the alcohol and how it affects the powwow. And so we was able to transform that. And so today you see a powwow that is drug and alcohol free. That started the biggest change that I've seen in our powwow.
Sorrell said the goal was to get the powwow back to being about the blessings we receive. His family openly shares their blessings with many during the powwow.
Sometimes we have 50 to 75 people come through and have dinner and supper with us. It's a sharing that we continue to do, and we like to do it, and it's a privilege to have people come here. We've had birthdays, we've had weddings, and we've had dignitaries.
The term powwow has several different definitions, and powwows mean different things to the people in attendance. Gene's wife, Anna Whiting Sorrell, is renewed by the powwow and tells how the beginning of the celebration involves mourning those who have passed.
I work where where I've come to understand teen suicide in Indian country, so I dance for those young people that died. But then they say celebrate, and you get to let that go. And so I think for us as Salish, our next year starts as they say celebrate. It kind of feels like for me like a recreation of my soul.
The significance of passing on traditions to coming generations was mentioned by many. After grand entry on Friday, an honor ceremony was held for a young boy named Jackson. Dressed in full regalia, he led his family onto the floor for his first time around the arbor. They followed behind, carrying 2 large blankets filled with gifts that they laid at the center of the floor and invited people out to claim. Dancer Ruth Swaney from the Flathead Reservation was at the powwow to be with family and friends. As she put the finishing touches on her grandson's outfit, she talked about dancing.
It makes me feel happy. I celebrate. In our Salish language, Esiap Kene means that to be celebrating. I'm just happy to have my children and my grandkids and our friends and relatives, and we are all camped together, and it's something that we look forward to all year long.
Swaney also brought up the question of whether powwows should be competitions where the winner receives money. Greg Red Elk travels to powwows to dance and sell his hand-painted imitation eagle feathers. As he shared his story, his partner painted a white horse and a turkey feather in the front seat of their car.
If you can imagine, if you make anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a weekend dancing, you can't really buy the big house, but you can provide a living. And if you're happy doing what you're doing, arts and crafts, and my wife and I, this is something we do for a living.
Red Elk left a promising career at Microsoft to live a life that makes him happy. It happened after attending a powwow in his hometown.
I remember my daughter was with me, and she was sitting on my shoulders when I was watching the dancers, the ones I knew that I had grown up with. Some of them were out there dancing. I never knew them as good dancers. I knew them as they danced, but they weren't good dancers. But this time, every one of them looked really sharp, and every one of them was in perfect time with the song, and it just did something to me, and I started to cry.
Red Elk was changed by the dancers he saw that day at the Fort Peck Reservation. His story tells the power of native drumming and singing, accompanied by the dancers in traditional regalia. Also featured at the powwow was Stick Game. It's a game of gambling where opposing teams subtly use psychology and guile to outwit each other, also while drumming and singing. It's a hard one to describe. Arlee said that traditionally after the celebration, it was time for chokecherries, huckleberries, and harvest berries, and then on to the hunting season. For Montana Public Radio, I'm Justin Steck.